The amphitheater of the Galactic Council stretched across 3 kilometers of polished obsidian, a monument to the collective power of 17 star-faring civilizations. Kate stood at the petitioner's platform, her hands steady despite the weight of 7 billion souls resting on her shoulders. Above her, the council representatives loomed in their suspended galleries, their various forms casting strange shadows across the chamber floor. "The human petition for protected status is denied," announced Arbitrator Velthos, his crystalline body refracting the chamber's light into cold, indifferent rainbows. "Furthermore, Earth System 7-3 is hereby declared open territory. Any council member may claim its resources without restriction." Kate's jaw tightened. Beside her, Avery's hand moved imperceptibly toward the data slate at his hip. They had expected resistance, perhaps negotiation. Not this. Not wholesale abandonment to the vultures. "With respect, Arbitrator," Kate said, her voice carrying across the vast space, "Earth has complied with every first contact protocol. We've shared our scientific data, our cultural archives, our—" "Your compliance is irrelevant," interrupted Ambassador Threxus of the Corthian Empire, her segmented mandibles clicking with barely concealed amusement. "Your species has existed in space for less than a century. You possess no strategic resources, no military capability of note, and no leverage. The Council sees no benefit in extending protection to primitives who cannot protect themselves." Avery stepped forward, his engineer's mind already calculating trajectories and probabilities. "You're making a mistake," he said quietly. "Humanity didn't crawl out of its gravity well by giving up when the odds were bad." Velthos's laughter sounded like wind chimes in a hurricane. "A brave sentiment from a species that will be extinct within the decade. This council is adjourned." The Corthian invasion fleet arrived at Earth 6 months later. Threxus herself commanded the armada from her flagship, already composing the victory dispatch she would send to the council. Humans, she had been told, were fragile creatures, slow to adapt, quick to panic, bound by primitive notions of honor and mercy. The fleet emerged from hyperspace expecting perhaps a few desperate defense satellites, maybe some kinetic weapons platforms if the humans had been particularly industrious. Instead, they found the entire asteroid belt missing. "Scan for debris," Threxus commanded, her confidence faltering for the first time in her 3-century military career. "No debris, Commander," her tactical officer reported, confusion evident in his translated words. "The asteroids are gone. All of them." That's when the moon opened fire. Humanity had spent 6 months doing what humans do best, improvising, adapting, and building impossible things with insufficient resources. Every asteroid in the belt had been hollowed out, fitted with antimatter engines, and positioned in a 3-dimensional grid surrounding Earth's solar system. The moon itself had been transformed into a fortress, its surface bristling with railguns that fired projectiles at relativistic speeds. Kate watched from the command center buried beneath Luna's surface, her fingers dancing across holographic displays. Avery worked beside her, his engineering genius having turned Earth's entire solar system into a weapon. "They thought we were weak," Kate murmured, watching the Corthian fleet break apart under the relentless barrage. "They confused our desire for peace with inability to wage war." "Their mistake," Avery replied, adjusting firing solutions. "Humans have been fighting each other for 10,000 years. We're very, very good at it." The battle lasted 17 minutes. Not a single Corthian ship escaped. The Galactic Council reconvened in emergency session 3 days later. This time, there was no laughter, no dismissive mandible clicking. The chamber filled with shocked silence as Kate uploaded the battle footage for all to witness. "You weaponized your entire star system in 6 months?" Velthos's voice had lost its mocking edge. That's impossible." "Impossible is just a challenge humans haven't solved yet," Kate replied. "But we're not here to gloat. We're here to establish new terms." She paused, letting the weight of her next words settle over the assembled delegates. Earth will accept Council membership, but not as petitioners, as equals. We will contribute our scientific innovation, our cultural perspectives, and yes, our military capabilities, but only in defense of Council worlds that recognize our sovereignty. You dare make demands? Ambassador Threxus's replacement, a younger Corthian named Velkus, rose from his gallery. After committing such violence? Avery stepped forward, his expression hard. We committed survival. You taught us that the galaxy respects strength, not courtesy. So here's our strength. Those asteroids? Still out there. Still armed. And they're now surrounding every major Council world in this sector. The chamber erupted in chaos. Accusations flew, threats were made, and somewhere in the cacophony, Kate heard the beautiful sound of fear. They were finally being taken seriously. Arbitrator Velthos raised his crystalline appendages, calling for order. When silence finally returned, he fixed Kate with what might have been respect in his species equivalent of a gaze. "The Council will deliberate," he said carefully. "But I suspect we will find your terms acceptable." 3 years later, Kate stood on the observation deck of humanity's first deep space embassy, watching ships from 100 worlds navigate the busy space lanes around Earth. The planet that had once been dismissed as primitive now served as a hub for technological innovation. Its engineers and scientists sought after across the galaxy. Avery joined her carrying 2 glasses of champagne synthesized from asteroid ice. "The Velcorian delegation just signed the Mutual Defense Pact," he reported. "That's 15 Council species now under Earth's protection umbrella." Kate accepted the glass, a smile playing at her lips. "They voted against us, called us weak, irrelevant, not worth protecting. And now they line up to have us protect them," Avery finished, raising his glass. "Funny how the galaxy works." They touched glasses, the soft clink barely audible over the hum of the station around them. Below, Earth turned in its ancient rhythm, no longer alone, no longer dismissed, no longer weak. The Galactic Council had voted against humanity, declaring them unworthy of protection. They had learned, too late, that humans don't need protection. They need only motivation. And nothing motivates humanity quite like being told something is impossible.